The text you provided appears to be a conversation about various what-if scenarios regarding NFL trades and potential player movements. These hypothetical scenarios are explored with focus on the potential consequences for the teams and players involved. It primarily features a conversation between several analysts or commentators discussing the impact of specific trades, such as the Giants potentially acquiring Matthew Stafford, Russell Wilson reuniting with Pete Carroll, and Aaron Rodgers potentially joining the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's an in-depth analysis of the key themes, ideas, and arguments raised in the text. Hashtag Matthew Stafford and the Giants asterisk. The first scenario involves the hypothetical trade of Matthew Stafford to the New York Giants. The initial reaction to this idea is skepticism, with a focus on the Giants' struggles in recent seasons. The team's performance is questioned, as they were not competitive in their division, and their record from the previous year, 3 wins, suggests that even with Stafford, they would not likely improve significantly. Stafford's potential fit with the Giants is further doubted due to the team's current state and the division's growing competitiveness, especially with the rise of the Washington Commanders. The conversation then shifts to the implications for Stafford himself. One commentator points out the financial aspect, considering that Stafford is already well compensated with the Rams, and questions whether moving to the Giants for a slight increase in guaranteed money makes sense. This discussion highlights the tension between financial incentives and career decisions, as Stafford may not see much improvement in his career trajectory by moving to a less successful team. The Giants' aspirations are noted, but there's no clear justification for why this move would significantly benefit either party. Hashtag Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll reuniting at the Raiders asterisk. The second scenario imagines a reunion between Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll at the Las Vegas Raiders. There's an initial positive outlook on this idea, with the belief that such a move could bring a sense of optimism to the Raiders, a franchise that has struggled in recent years. Both Wilson and Carroll are viewed as positive, upbeat figures who could bring a new energy to the team. However, the conversation quickly acknowledges the complexities of their previous relationship, noting that their partnership in Seattle didn't end on the best terms. This raises questions about whether both parties have been humbled enough to work together again. Despite the positive vibes associated with both figures, there's a realization that this move may not be a long-term solution for the Raiders. Russell Wilson's performance with the Denver Broncos has been a point of concern, and it's unclear whether he can truly elevate the Raiders' quarterback situation. The question of whether Wilson is a vibes guy is raised, which challenges the perception of him as a positive leader. Ultimately, the discussion suggests that while the move may create some initial excitement, it may not be the best strategic decision for the Raiders. The third scenario centers on the potential acquisition of Aaron Rodgers by the Pittsburgh Steelers. This idea is met with more enthusiasm, with one commentator arguing that Rodgers would fit well with the Steelers' established identity. The team's defense and special teams have been strong, and adding a quarterback with Rodgers' experience and skill set could improve their offensive play. Rodgers' ability to protect the ball, particularly in turnover situations, is seen as an asset for a team that prioritizes strong defensive play. However, there are significant concerns about the off-field dynamics. Rodgers' tenure with the Green Bay Packers and his time with the New York Jets raised questions about his commitment and attitude, particularly regarding team culture and media interactions. The Steelers are known for their no-nonsense approach, and it's unclear whether Rodgers would mesh well with the team's philosophy. The uncertainty surrounding Rodgers' mindset and whether he is truly willing to commit to a more disciplined environment adds complexity to this scenario. The final section addresses the New York Jets and their ongoing search for a quarterback. The Jets are said to be exploring several options, including drafting a quarterback, looking at potential trade candidates like Justin Fields, or signing a veteran quarterback. The team's need for a long-term solution at quarterback is highlighted, and the conversation touches on various strategies the Jets could pursue. While the possibility of drafting a quarterback is mentioned, the idea of adding a bridge quarterback or pursuing a more experienced player to lead the team is also considered. A recurring theme is a tension between financial incentives and the pursuit of success. In Stafford's case, the idea of moving to a less competitive team for more money doesn't seem to add up. This is contrasted with the idea of a player taking a pay cut or restructuring their contract to play for a team that could offer a better chance of winning. The scenarios involving Wilson and Rodgers touch on the idea of creating excitement in the short term through positive personalities or high-profile players versus focusing on a more sustainable long-term strategy. For both the Raiders and the Steelers, there's a concern that these moves might bring temporary excitement but fail to address deeper issues or provide long-term solutions. The off-field dynamics, particularly in the cases of Rodgers and Wilson, are crucial to the success of these potential moves. Both players have strong personalities and have had difficult relationships with previous teams. Whether or not they could adapt to new team cultures is a central question that impacts the viability of these trades or signings. 4. Team need versus player skills asterisk. Each of the scenarios considers how well the skills of the players, Stafford, Wilson, Rodgers, will align with the needs of teams in question. For the Steelers, Rodgers' risk-averse style of play could complement their defensive-first approach, while for the Raiders, Wilson's leadership and positivity are seen as potentially transformative. However, the question of whether their skills fit the team's needs in the long term remains central to the discussion. The text delves into the intricacies of team-building decisions and the complexities of player movement in the NFL. Each what-if scenario raises valid points about the challenges teams face when considering high-profile player acquisitions. The analysis touches on the balance between financial considerations, team culture, and the long-term goals of a franchise. Ultimately, the text highlights that while these hypothetical trades and signings may generate excitement or intrigue, the real questions revolve around whether they align with the team's broader objectives for sustained success.